Star Wars Episode 9 is set to deliver tons of twists and turns by writer and director J.J. Abrams for the fans around the world. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are looking forward to seeing in this film is, of course, not just the adventures of Kylo Ren and Rey and how they will be interacting with each other on screen, but we also have exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to tie this movie into not just the prequel trilogy, but other forms of Star Wars canon that falls under Disney. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. Now, what I find very intriguing about this film is that J.J. Abrams, Chris Terrio, and crew all plan to deliver tons of Jedi and Sith lore, as well as Jedi and Sith revelations in this movie that will change our perception on the whole entire idea of the Jedi and Sith. Now, this was lightly touched on in Star Wars The Last Jedi by writer and director Rian Johnson, and it didn't really go quite the way a lot of fans wanted it to. In fact, he didn't really dive into all that much of the Jedi and Sith lore that we all hoped that to actually happen in that film. So now with Star Wars Episode 9, with J.J. Abrams concluding this current trilogy, he will be implementing a lot of Jedi and Sith lore that'll make us understand more about the past and, of course, what's going to happen in the future, and some of the revelations that will be coming into play here for the Jedi and Sith as a whole. So this is one thing that is currently being, pretty much deeply explained within the current Star Wars canon when it comes to the comics. Now, what's great about the comics is that you do get to learn a whole lot more about the Jedi and the Sith, and by the way, it all counts towards the overall story within the universe, which is great. So a lot of this will be applied into Star Wars Episode 9, actually on screen this time. This is a big deal because not only would this make us understand the whole entire concept of the Jedi and the Sith a whole lot more, but it could also have something to do with Rey and the Jedi books. Now, the ancient Jedi books that she actually has, it may very well have something to do with that, as far as the Jedi side of things goes. As far as, when it comes to the Sith-related content, this may very well, kind of delve into what we actually have been talking about before in the past, about Kylo Ren having all these different Sith artifacts and these Sith relics that he has collected over the years within his chambers. So it's extremely possible that those are actually the forms of Jedi and Sith revelations / lore that we will be learning a whole lot more about, which will all be done through both Kylo Ren and Rey. Now, what I find very intriguing is that J.J. Abrams is pretty much a visionary. He knows what he's doing when it comes to expanding a universe. But to me, I always follow this, and I've heard this statement before many times in the past, is that he's a great fixer but not a great closer. And that's one thing that's leaving not only myself here very concerned, but a lot of people out there as well. So, the great thing about Jedi and Sith lore is not only does it make the story interesting, we were kind of hoping that this was going to be a big thing in Star Wars The Last Jedi, and it ended up being pretty much a reverse of that. We really didn't get a whole lot of lore when it came to, the Jedi and the Sith and all that kind of stuff, right? We saw the Jedi books, yes, but we didn't learn too much about those books. That'll also be deeply explained in Star Wars Episode 9, and could very well tell us exactly how Luke Skywalker was able to learn the power of Force projection, as well as what powers Rey will learn out of these books. And again, it's been said before in the past that these books are going to play a major role in Episode 9, and that's exactly how the Jedi lore will be explored. And that's one thing to look forward to, I think. I've always wanted, like, what's actually going to happen with the ancient Jedi and all the different knowledge that's stored in there and how that's going to be explained on film. JJ is going to have to do this in a very good way that'll actually make fans understand it rather easily without any kind of problems in the way. And that's what's really great about the canon material, whether it comes in the form of books, comic books, video games, novels, you name it, is that it expands all of this. Everything that a lot of fans have wanted to learn more about, let's say, for example, when it comes to kyber crystals, lightsabers, holocrons, I mean, the list goes on, really, and a lot of that is going to be applied in Star Wars Episode Episode 9, and I think it does have something to do with one of the big planets that are coming into play here for Episode 9, that is said to have a lot of Jedi and Sith connections, not only to the prequel trilogy, but before the events of the prequels, which could also be ancient Jedi and Sith as well. But anyways guys, let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.